Hey guys, Alec Weinstein here. I wanted to take you through some of these amazing breakthroughs coming out of Magic Lantern lately for the 5D Mark III. So here we go. Here's a shot from my balcony at 400 millimeters, shooting a standard H.264. Now here's the 14-bit RAW version of that. That's right, Magic Lantern unlocked 14-bit RAW video recording, and here's the result. Now let's have another look back at the H.264. Now, here's an experiment. I added some saturation and a little bit of contrast to the H.264, and this is what I got over here. So clearly it starts to look quite a bit better when you give it a little color treatment. So now let's have a look at that with the added saturation and contrast versus the RAW version. So here's the RAW over here. You'll see there's more detail in the water. There's more detail in the trees. There's more detail in the shadows. Overall, a crisper image. But right now we're not comparing apples to apples. What we need to do is add a little treatment to the RAW. So here's the RAW, and now let's treat that with a little saturation and contrast. And now let's have a look at the H.264 that was treated side by side. So here's the H.264 treated, and here's the RAW treated. And this is really the test that matters, because the benefit of shooting RAW is what the footage looks like after you work with it in post, after you add contrast and saturation and you put a color grade on it. And you can see the difference is fairly substantial. The clarity of the image in RAW here versus the H.264, it's pretty obvious. So that's what we gain here, from what we had to now what we have with RAW. It's a very big deal. But wait, there's more, so brace yourself. This is that same shot from my balcony at now 1200 millimeters. How is this possible? Well, it's done by enabling a 3x crop factor in the Magic Lantern firmware. There is no loss in resolution. This is shot at full 1080 RAW. So how is this possible, you might ask? Well, I'll do my best here to show you. So this is the sensor of your camera. And on that sensor, there are photo sites distributed across that sensor. And they're distributed at a ratio of 16 by 9. 16 wide by 9 high. When you're shooting 1080, it turns out those active photo sites are sprinkled across the sensor in the ratio of 1 to every 9 actual sensor sites there. Because the actual sensor resolution is far greater than the video resolution that we shoot. So the guys at Magic Lantern figured out, what if we took those and consolidated those active photo sites into the densest sensor pattern we can, giving us a sensor size 1/9 of the size of the original size, 1/3 the size in length, and 1/3 of the height. What that does is it magnifies the lens by a factor of 300% in order to focus the light on that smaller effective sensor. So here's an example of that. Here we are at 70 millimeters. Here we are at 200 millimeters. Now we throw the doubler on, and I'm at 400 millimeters. Now we have to use the crop factor to reach out further. So here we are at 600 millimeters. And at 800, and at 1200 millimeters. This is shot at full 1080 HD. There's no loss of resolution. This is an optical magnification. So here we are again at 140 millimeters. At 400 millimeters. And now with the crop factor enabled, we're at 1200 millimeters, and we're right up next to these guys. You can see what they're saying. You can see the expressions on their face. Here's another example. 70 millimeters. 200 millimeters. 400 millimeters. 800. And now 1200. And once again, let me pause this here. So what you see here is an image that wasn't as sharp as it was when we were back at 200 millimeters, but that's to be expected. And it's not because of a loss of resolution. It's because we're shooting through so much atmosphere. It's a warm day here. The air is dense, it's swirling, it's moving. When you're shooting at that length of a lens at 1200 millimeters, you're gonna see that air. And that's what we're seeing here. All this mirage effect. So here's another example, 140 millimeters in my balcony here. Gonna do a little macro photography, 400 millimeters. And now we enable the crop factor, 1200 millimeters. So folks, look at what this means. This means that now we have amazing telephoto lenses in our kit. We can triple the length of any length lens that we have. In my case, my maximum lens range was 400 millimeters. Well, now I can triple that out to 1200 millimeters. And I can take it back, at any range I'd like, from 800, 600, you name it. And combine that with the fact that I'm now shooting that footage at 14-bit RAW. So I hope you're as excited about this as I am. I think it's rather mind-blowing. If you'd like a tutorial on how to get these features working on your camera, let me know. If I get enough positive feedback and interest, I will do that for you and show you exactly how we shoot in this crop mode in RAW to get these kind of results. Thanks again.